The black car pulled into the long driveway, 3 hours early. Marcus Blackwood stepped out, his expensive shoes clicking on the stone path. He hadn't told anyone he was coming home today. Not his assistant, not the house staff, not even his son Tommy. Marcus wanted to see what really happened in his mansion when he wasn't watching. For weeks, something felt wrong. The house seemed different. The servants acted strange. And Tommy, his wheelchair-bound son, barely looked at him anymore. "I own everything in this house," Marcus whispered to himself as he walked to the front door. "So why do I feel like a stranger?" He turned his gold key slowly, making no noise. The huge mansion was quiet. Too quiet. Marcus loosened his tie and stepped inside, his heart beating fast. Something was happening here. He could feel it. Then he heard it. Laughter. Not the fake laugh Tommy sometimes made during his lessons. Not the polite giggle he gave his doctors. This was real laughter. The kind that bubbled up from deep inside. The kind Tommy hadn't made since the accident that took his mother and put him in that wheelchair. Marcus's chest grew tight. He followed the sound, walking faster and faster down the marble hallway. His hands started shaking. Was he dreaming? Tommy laughing like that? The laughter got louder as he reached the living room door. Marcus pushed it open and froze. What he saw made his blood turn to ice. There, on the thick carpet, was a girl about Tommy's age. She was crawling on her hands and knees like a horse. Her long black hair bounced as she moved. She wore a bright yellow dress that swished back and forth. And on her back, Tommy sat there, holding onto her shoulders, bouncing up and down with the biggest smile Marcus had seen in 2 years. His son's eyes sparkled with pure joy. His cheeks were red from laughing so hard. "Faster, Luna, faster!" Tommy giggled, squeezing his legs around the girl's waist. But the thing that made Marcus's heart stop was what he saw in the corner. Tommy's wheelchair sat empty, forgotten, like it didn't even matter. Marcus felt his face get hot. His hands made fists. This was wrong. So very wrong. His son, his precious son, was riding a servant's child like she was some kind of animal. It was embarrassing. It was beneath them. "What is this?" Marcus's voice boomed through the room like thunder. The girl stopped crawling immediately. Tommy's smile disappeared. Both children turned to look at the angry man in the doorway. "Daddy?" Tommy's voice was small and scared. "Get off her this instant!" Marcus marched into the room, his face red with anger. "What do you think you're doing?" The girl, Luna, helped Tommy slide down to the carpet. She stood up quickly, her yellow dress wrinkled and dirty. Her big brown eyes were wide with fear. "I'm sorry, sir," Luna whispered, her voice shaking. "We were just playing." Marcus laughed, but it wasn't a nice laugh. It was cold and mean. "You think my living room is your playground? You think my son is your toy?" Luna stepped back, tears starting in her eyes. "No, sir. I would never." "Silence." Marcus pointed at her with a shaking finger. "You're a servant's child. You have no business in this room, and no business touching my son." Tommy's face went white. He looked between his father and his friend, confusion and fear mixing in his eyes. "But Daddy, we were having fun. Luna makes me feel. I don't care what she makes you feel." Marcus's voice got even louder. "Look at yourself. Crawling around on the floor like some kind of animal." Those words hit Tommy like a slap. His bottom lip started to tremble. Luna took a brave step forward, even though her whole body was shaking. "Please don't yell at him, sir. It was my idea. I just wanted Tommy to smile." "Your idea?" Marcus turned his angry eyes on her. "You think you know what's best for my son? You think you understand what he needs?" "I understand that he's sad," Luna said quietly. But her voice was clear. "And when we played together, he's not sad anymore." Marcus felt something twist in his chest. This little girl, this nobody, was talking back to him in his house about his son. "Tommy doesn't need friends like you," Marcus said through gritted teeth. He needs proper companions, children from good families. Not. He looked Luna up and down with disgust. Not this. That's when Tommy did something that shocked everyone in the room. He pulled himself up using the couch and stood as straight as his weak legs would let him. His small hands made fists just like his father's. Stop it! Tommy yelled, louder than Marcus had ever heard him. Stop being mean to Luna! Marcus stared at his son. Tommy was shaking, but not with fear. With anger. She's my friend, Tommy continued, his voice cracking with emotion. She's the only person who doesn't look at me like I'm broken. The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. Broken? Is that how Tommy saw himself? Luna reached out and took Tommy's hand. You're not broken, she whispered to him. You're perfect just the way you are. Marcus watched his son's face soften, watched Tommy look at Luna like she had just given him the most precious gift in the world. And that's when Marcus realized something that made his stomach drop to his feet. This servant's child, this girl in the wrinkled yellow dress, had given Tommy something that all of Marcus's money, his doctors, or his expensive tutors never could. She had given Tommy back his smile. But Marcus was too proud, too angry to admit that. Not yet. Both of you upstairs. Now. Marcus's voice was quiet now, but somehow more scary than when he was yelling. Tommy looked at his father with eyes full of hurt and disappointment. You don't understand anything, Daddy. As Tommy reached for his wheelchair, Marcus saw something that made his chest ache. His son's light had gone out again. The sparkle in his eyes was gone. The smile had vanished. And Marcus realized he was the one who had taken it away. But the biggest shock was yet to come. Tommy didn't move toward his wheelchair. Instead, he stood there on his shaking legs, staring at his father with eyes full of fire. No, Tommy said. The word came out like a gunshot. Marcus blinked. His son had never said no to him. Not once in his entire life. What did you just say to me? Marcus's voice was dangerously quiet. I said no, Daddy. Tommy's voice got stronger. I'm not going upstairs. And Luna isn't leaving. Marcus felt his face get hot again. You will do as I say, young man. I am your father. Then act like one, Tommy shouted back. The words hit Marcus like a punch to the stomach. He staggered backward, shocked. Where was his quiet, obedient son? Where was the boy who whispered yes sir and no sir and never caused trouble? Luna stepped closer to Tommy, her small hand finding his. It's okay, she whispered to him. I can go. I don't want you to get in trouble. See? Marcus pointed at her. Even she knows her place. Why can't you? That's when Tommy did something that made Marcus's heart stop. His son began to cry. Not quiet tears, but loud, angry sobs that shook his whole body. Because I'm tired of my place, Tommy screamed. I'm tired of sitting in that stupid chair. I'm tired of tutors who talk to me like I'm stupid. I'm tired of doctors who poke me and say I'll never be normal. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but Tommy wasn't finished. And I'm most tired of you. Tommy's voice cracked. You look at me like I'm made of glass, like I'll break if I have too much fun. Luna doesn't do that. She makes me feel like I'm still me. Luna squeezed Tommy's hand tighter. Even though she was scared, she wasn't going to let him face this alone. You don't understand what it's like, Tommy continued, tears streaming down his face. Every day I wake up and remember that I can't walk right, that Mommy is gone, that everything is different now. Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. His son's pain was pouring out like water from a broken dam. But when Luna plays with me, Tommy's voice got softer. I forget about all that. For just a little while, I feel like a normal kid again. Why do you want to take that away from me? Before Marcus could answer, quick footsteps echoed from the hallway. Luna's mother, Maria, rushed into the room. Her dark hair was messy from cooking, and flour covered her apron. When she saw the scene, her daughter holding hands with the crying boy while the angry billionaire loomed over them, her face went white. Oh no! Maria whispered. Luna, what have you done? She didn't do anything wrong! Tommy yelled, turning to face Maria. She's the best friend I've ever had. Maria looked at Marcus with frightened eyes. Sir, please forgive my daughter. I'll take her away right now. She won't bother Master Tommy again. Good, Marcus said firmly. That's exactly what's going to happen. But Luna surprised everyone. This little girl who had been quiet and scared just moments before suddenly found her voice. No, Mama, Luna said, looking straight at Marcus. Her voice shook, but it was brave. I won't say sorry for being Tommy's friend. Maria gasped. Luna, you can't talk to Mr. Blackwood like that. Why not? Luna asked, tears in her own eyes now. He's being mean to Tommy. Tommy is sad all the time, and when I play with him, he's happy. What's wrong with that? Marcus stared down at this tiny girl who dared to challenge him. What's wrong is that you're filling my son's head with foolish ideas, making him think he can run around and play like other children when he can't. But he can, Luna shot back. Maybe not the same way, but he can. He's smart, and funny and brave. He just needs someone to believe in him. I believe in him, Marcus roared. No, you don't, Tommy screamed back. You believe I'm broken. You believe I need to be protected from everything. You believe I can't make my own friends. Maria stepped forward, her hands shaking. Please, sir, don't punish the children for my daughter's boldness. She has a good heart. She only wanted to help. Help? Marcus laughed bitterly. By letting my son crawl around on the floor like an animal? By making him think this game is appropriate for someone of his position. His position? Luna's eyes flashed with anger. What about his happiness? Doesn't that matter? Marcus was so shocked by her boldness that he couldn't speak for a moment. The servant's child was lecturing him about his own son. Tommy wiped his nose with his sleeve and looked at his father with the saddest eyes Marcus had ever seen. Daddy, Tommy said quietly, do you know what it feels like to have everyone treat you like you're made of glass? Like you might break if they talk too loud or laugh too hard around you. Marcus's throat felt tight. Tommy, I'm trying to protect you. From what? Tommy asked. From being happy? From having a friend who doesn't care that I can't walk right? From feeling normal for 5 minutes? Luna nodded, finding her courage again. Tommy tells me things, Mr. Blackwood. He tells me how lonely he is. How he misses his mom. How he wishes people would stop looking at him with sad faces. That's enough, Marcus shouted. But Luna kept talking. He tells me he dreams about running and playing like other kids. And when we play together, he gets to feel like those dreams are real, even just for a little while. Maria put her arm around her daughter. Luna, please stop. I can't stop, Mama, Luna said, tears rolling down her cheeks. Tommy is my friend. He makes me laugh, too. He tells me stories and helps me with my reading. He's the kindest person I know. Why should I pretend I don't care about him just because he uses a wheelchair? Tommy looked at Luna with so much love in his eyes that Marcus felt his heart skip. She's right, Daddy, Tommy said softly. Luna doesn't see my wheelchair first. She sees me first. When was the last time you did that? The question hung in the air like a heavy cloud. Marcus looked at his son, really looked at him, and realized something terrible. He couldn't remember when he had stopped seeing Tommy as his bright, curious boy and started seeing him only as a patient to be protected. When had he stopped listening to his son's hopes and started focusing only on his limitations? But Marcus's pride was still too strong. He couldn't admit he was wrong. Not in front of the servants. Not in front of this little girl who had somehow become more important to his son than he was. This conversation is over, Marcus said through clenched teeth. Maria, take your daughter to your quarters. She is not to come to this part of the house again. No! Tommy cried out. You can't do that. I can do whatever I want, Marcus said coldly. This is my house. Tommy's face crumpled. But then something amazing happened. He let go of Luna's hand and took a step toward his father. His legs wobbled, but he didn't fall. Then maybe I don't want to live in your house anymore, Tommy said quietly. The words hit Marcus like lightning. His son, his precious son, would rather leave than give up his friendship with Luna. Maria gasped. Luna's eyes went wide. Even Marcus felt his world tilt. But the biggest shock was still coming. Marcus felt the room spin around him. His son, his only child, had just said he'd rather leave home than give up his friendship with the servant's daughter. You don't mean that, Marcus whispered, his voice suddenly weak. Tommy's chin trembled, but his eyes stayed strong. I do mean it, Daddy. If Luna can't be my friend, then what's the point of staying here? I'm already alone anyway. Those words hit Marcus harder than any punch ever could. Alone. His son felt alone in this huge mansion filled with people whose job it was to take care of him. Marcus stumbled backward and sat down heavily in his leather chair. For the first time in years, he felt small, powerless. Tommy, he said quietly, you have everything a boy could want. The best tutors, the finest doctors, toys that cost more than most people make in a year. But I don't have a friend, Tommy said, his voice breaking again. I don't have someone who likes me just because of who I am inside. Luna stepped forward even though her mother tried to pull her back. Mr. Blackwood, she said softly, Tommy is the bravest person I know. When I was scared of the thunder last week, he told me stories until it stopped. When I couldn't read a hard word, he helped me sound it out. He's not broken. He's wonderful. Marcus looked at this little girl with messy hair and a wrinkled dress, and suddenly he saw something he'd never noticed before. When she looked at Tommy, her eyes lit up with pure friendship. No pity, no sadness, just love. The same way his wife, Sarah, used to look at Tommy before the accident. Suddenly, memories crashed over Marcus like a giant wave. He remembered Tommy at age 5, racing around the garden on his little legs, chasing butterflies and laughing until he couldn't breathe. He remembered Sarah scooping Tommy up and spinning him around while he squealed with delight. He remembered the day everything changed. The phone call, the hospital, Sarah's hand going cold in his. Tommy's small body hooked up to machines, the doctor saying words like spinal injury, and may never walk normally again. Marcus had made a promise that day. He would protect Tommy from everything. Nothing would ever hurt his son again. But somewhere along the way, protecting Tommy had become controlling him. And controlling him had become imprisoning him. Oh God, Marcus whispered, putting his head in his hands. What have I done? Tommy took another shaky step toward his father. Daddy, are you okay? Marcus looked up at his son through blurry eyes. Really looked at him. And for the first time in 2 years, he didn't see the wheelchair first. He didn't see the injury first. He saw Tommy. His bright, brave, lonely little boy who just wanted to feel normal again. Tommy, Marcus said, his voice thick with tears he'd been holding back for years. I'm so sorry. Sorry for what, Daddy? Marcus wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. For making you feel broken when you're not. For making you feel alone when you shouldn't be. For caring more about protecting you than about making you happy. Tommy's eyes went wide. His daddy never cried. His daddy never said sorry. I thought, Marcus continued, that if I kept you safe from everything, you'd be okay. But I was wrong. I wasn't keeping you safe. I was keeping you from living. Luna took a small step forward. Mr. Blackwood, does that mean Tommy and I can still be friends? Marcus looked at her, really looked at her, and saw what Tommy saw. A kind, brave girl who didn't care about money or wheelchairs or any of the things Marcus thought mattered. She just cared about Tommy. What's your favorite thing to do with Tommy? Marcus asked Luna gently. Luna's face brightened. We read stories together, and we draw pictures. And sometimes we pretend we're explorers discovering new worlds. Tommy has the best imagination. Marcus felt his heart squeeze. When was the last time he'd asked Tommy about his imagination? When was the last time they'd read a story together or drawn pictures? He couldn't remember. And Tommy, Marcus said, turning to his son, what's your favorite thing about Luna? Tommy smiled for the first time since Marcus had come home. She makes me feel like I can do anything, Daddy. When I'm with Luna, I don't think about what I can't do. I think about what I can do. Maria stepped forward, still holding Luna's hand. Sir, my daughter will be honored to continue being Master Tommy's friend, if you allow it. Marcus stood up slowly and walked over to where the three of them stood together. Tommy, Luna, and Maria all looked up at him with hopeful, nervous eyes. Luna, Marcus said, kneeling down so he was at her eye level. I owe you an apology. You've given my son something I forgot how to give him. What's that, sir? Luna asked quietly. Joy, Marcus said simply. You've given him back his joy. Luna's face broke into the biggest smile Marcus had ever seen. Really? I can keep being Tommy's friend? Marcus nodded. But I have one condition. Tommy's smile faded a little. What condition, Daddy? Marcus grinned, and it was the first real smile he'd worn in years. The condition is that sometimes you let your old dad join in on the fun. I think I've forgotten how to play, and I could use some teachers. Tommy threw himself forward and hugged his father so tight that Marcus almost fell over. Really, Daddy? You want to play with us? Really, Marcus said, hugging his son back with all his strength. I want to learn how to see the world through your eyes again. Both of your eyes. Luna clapped her hands together. We can show you the game where Tommy is a brave knight and I'm his trusty horse. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed for the first time since Sarah died. A brave knight? I like that. What does this brave knight do? He saves people, Tommy said excitedly. And he goes on adventures, and he never gives up even when things are hard. Marcus looked at his son with new eyes. Tommy was a brave knight. He'd been fighting battles every day. Battles with his body, battles with loneliness, battles with a father who didn't understand. And he'd been winning those battles all by himself. You know what, Tommy? Marcus said, lifting his son up and spinning him around the way Sarah used to do. I think you're the bravest knight I've ever met. Tommy giggled, that beautiful, real laughter that had started this whole adventure. Does this mean no more boring tutors every day? Well, Marcus said with a wink. Maybe we can balance the tutors with some fun. Luna, what do you think? Can you help me make sure Tommy gets plenty of both learning and playing? Yes, sir, Luna said, bouncing on her toes. I know lots of fun games. Maria wiped a tear from her eyes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for seeing what a special friendship this is. Marcus put his hand on Maria's shoulder. Thank you for raising such a wonderful daughter. She's taught me more about being a father in one day than I learned in 2 years. As the sun set through the big windows of the living room, Marcus realized something amazing. He was the richest man in the city. He owned companies and buildings and cars worth millions of dollars. But the most valuable thing he owned was sitting right there in his arms, laughing with his best friend. His son's happiness was worth more than all the money in the world. And he'd almost lost it because he forgot the most important truth of all. Love isn't about keeping someone safe from everything. Love is about helping them fly. What would you do if you were Marcus? Would you choose pride, or your child's happiness? Have you ever had to learn that protecting someone sometimes means letting them spread their wings? If this story touched your heart, like this video and share it with someone who needs to remember what truly matters in life. Subscribe for more powerful stories that prove love and courage can come from the most unexpected places. Comment below, what's the most important lesson you learned from Tommy and Luna's friendship? We read every single comment. Remember, the greatest treasures in life can't be bought with money. They can only be earned with an open heart.